Let's bring in Dr. Ramiarison. He's a professor of economics at the University of Antananarivo. He's joining us live on the program tonight. Dr. Ramiarison, thank you very much for your time this evening. So the protests started last month, originally with a complaint about mediocre provision of public services. Water and electricity access was deeply constrained. How did those problems originally come about?
Hi everyone, good morning, good evening. I think this is not about water and electricity. It's a decade-long frustration by the young generation. Because if you look at the Madagascar economy, you can see that the young person, they are very neglected for decades. They have no job. Many of them are not educated, and the economic growth is very low in Madagascar. So it's kind of accumulation of frustration among the young generation. And recently, the problem of water and electricity is very high. So this is a kind of a bomb who has exploded suddenly. And as you can see, there is no leader, but this is kind of, they just came up together.
Indeed. So back in February, the World Bank argued that Madagascar's GDP growth was still, and I'm quoting them here, insufficient to significantly improve living standards, going back to your point about, an entire generation being neglected by the country's economy. What is it about the way public policy was formulated and implemented in Madagascar that has prevented any meaningful growth, both in incomes and jobs?
Yes, I think the successive government failed to implement good policies in Madagascar. For example, if you look from the period of 2009 until 2023, the average annual growth is about 2.3%. It's not enough to improve the living standard of the population. It means that the government failed to implement a good policy, a growth policy in the country. And as you can see, there is a lot of indicators of bad governance in Madagascar. The corruption is very high, and I think the government, we didn't think about the people, we just think about their own interest. I think the nepotism and the cronyism is very is spread in Madagascar. So I think the lack of serious policy to lift the economy, that is the main problem in Madagascar.
What will it take to rebuild productivity in the country? Because I know that declining productivity has been flagged multiple times by external economists, and the revenue base is also comparatively small. There's a tax GDP ratio under 11%. The median, I believe, in Africa is somewhere closer to 16%. And 60% of the population is employed in agriculture.
Yes, the tax GDP ratio below the 11% reflected the bad performance of the Madagascar economy. The productivity is very low. There is not so much investment because the business environment is bad. There is no incitation for the investor to invest in Madagascar and to produce. So I think it's time now for the government in Madagascar to look more seriously on the investment climate in Madagascar, and also to make a good governance, because if you don't have this kind of policy, I think it's impossible to develop the country. So it's time to focus on the private sector, to implement policy incentives so that you can increase the investment and you create wealth and you create a job. And I think you need the foreign capital, not only in form of ODA, but in form of the foreign direct investment. But it's not possible if we don't have this kind of good business environment, where there is no more corruption.